You can literally buy as many customers as you like using paid ads. And I can say that because I've generated over £1.5 million in revenue with my e-commerce business. But there is a catch. Ads alone won't scale you. Unless your systems, so your fulfillment, your customer service, and your operations can handle the flow, your growth will collapse. So right here, I'm going to show you how you can combine a profitable paid ad campaign with a solid infrastructure so you can scale your business as much as you want. And I've laid it all out here. This is exactly how I think about scaling a business so we can literally buy unlimited customers. And it is broken down into these 4 areas: ads, ROAS, ops, and scale. So first of all, ads. This is the way that we buy unlimited customers, and depends which platform you prefer, which is best for your industry, your niche. You might be using Meta ads, you might be using Google, you might be using TikTok. It doesn't matter which one you're using. Whichever you use, effectively, this can become a slot machine. And a slot machine is something in an arcade where if you put a certain amount of money in, if you pull the right thing and if you get the right combination with your ads, you can guarantee a certain amount of money out. But it's not gambling because we can get skilled at this and we can get it to a point where we know exactly how much money we're putting in. We know exactly how much money that returns. And the way that works is because we can give ad platforms, Meta, Google, or TikTok, money. And with that money, they will show our ads in certain places. And because of the people who actually click on those ads and purchase our products, a certain number of those will account for conversions. And then that conversion will give us a value for how much money we're getting back for the money we put in. Simple system. And what we can do is once we are achieving a certain return on ad spend, we know exactly if we put £1 in, we'll get £5 out. That means £1 to 5 is a 5 ROAS. So if we're achieving a 5 ROAS, we know we put £1 in, £5 out. And once we've got it to that situation through skill and testing and having the right products and having those things in the right place, we can then extrapolate that ROAS and just keep spending more money. So for example, £1 in turns into £5. Well, once we've got that profitable ROAS, we can keep scaling that up and up and up. And here's a screenshot from my Google Ads account. And I've taken a period of time when we were achieving this 5 ROAS or 5.2. So I can show you exactly, and it matches the example that I'm giving. I've actually achieved a far higher overall ROAS than a 5 over my time in ads. But this gives you an example of what it would work out if you've got about a 5 ROAS. So what happens when you look in your ad account is when I've spent £513 over a certain time frame, that drove 5 conversions, so 5 sales. And the value of those conversions all added together is £2,660. And that means you spent 513 and you've got about 2.5 grand back, which gives you that ROAS of just above 5. So brilliant. I'm now spending 500, getting 2.5k back. So let's keep scaling that up. So let's say, okay, brilliant. Let's double the ad spend. We'll start spending £1,000. And at the same ROAS, we're getting £5,000 back. And you can see how we're literally giving Google Ads or whichever ad platform £1,000 and it's giving us back £5,000. So you imagine you go into a machine or you go into an arcade and you've got a machine there that when you give it £1,000, it gives you £5,000 back. How many times would you repeat playing that machine? Well, the sort of thing that happens when you get to this position in business is you literally do keep repeating that over and over again to continue how much money your business is generating. So you can get yourself to a point where you're putting in £100,000. Maybe that's over the course of a month if you can spend that much in ads on your particular product. And that will then generate at the same ROAS £500,000 back. Now, I've actually spent similar to this. I've spent about 90k in ad spend since running my businesses, and I've generated a return of about 1.5 million with one of my stores. So my actual lifetime ROAS is much higher than this example, but it's simple maths. That's why I'm giving you a 5 ROAS as an example. And if you want my help in putting this all in place, then book in a call. I can explain how this all works, particularly around the system side of things that we're going to get to in just a second. So now the problem is once you get yourself to £500,000, you think there's probably going to be no problems. Well, the reality is if you're making £500,000 worth of sales in the course of a month, you've then got £500,000 worth of orders, worth of inquiries, worth of returns, £500,000 worth of after sales to look after your customers after they've received your products. So it doesn't just end there. That means we need to have the systems that will mop all this up so that we can continue repeating, putting in this amount of money to get this amount of money back. We have to have the systems. And this is where people get it wrong. They put so much focus on the amount of ad spend they put into their business. They forget that if you don't focus on the systems and the back end infrastructure that handles this, you won't be able to scale, and that will be the bottleneck. So this is the operations bottleneck. And this is how I think about operations and how I can overcome any operations bottleneck in any e-commerce business. This is what I've done for my stores, and it's what I've done for my stores of my clients who have now generated up to over £100,000 in a single month because they have the operations to fulfill the orders that they're getting. So first of all, we need to audit the way the business works. We then need to actually document in SOPs how the systems work within that business. We can then automate everything that can be and delegate the rest to growth operators. So virtual assistants operating in different countries will handle the tasks that need to be done every single day. So you as a founder can just look at the big picture. And this is exactly what I can send you if you send me a message or if you book a call with me. This is what I specialize in. This is my expertise, is making sure that operations is no longer a bottleneck so you can continue scaling those paid ads. And once you've got that sorted, we can then scale. But if you try and scale before you get the operations, it'll all collapse. So we have to have the operations in place, and then we can really scale, put as much money into the machine as we can and get as much money out as possible. And you can see here from my sales notifications in Shopify, the numbers that I'm pulling for my own business, but also for my clients' businesses. And you can see the impact it makes. And what we do when it comes to systems, this is the real bottleneck, is we need to have an organized folder library of all of the way that the business handles every system in the day-to-day running of the business. We have growth operators in place, that we have high quality virtual assistants that can handle these tasks. And that means not only do you get the scale, but you also get the freedom to live wherever you want. This is me in Singapore, this is me in Bali, where I am now, because the business runs without me and it can continue to scale, because something I've been reminded over and over again is when you fix your operations, you can scale much faster, reach bigger heights, and enjoy the process that much more as well. So that is how you buy unlimited customers, and it all comes down to if you've got the infrastructure in place. If you want my help with that, feel free to book in a call. I'd love to chat with you. You've watched through this much of the video. You're clearly someone that's serious about scaling their business. I'd love to have a chat with you about your specific business and what would make sense for you in terms of scaling as fast as possible with ads and infrastructure. So feel free to put that in. But with that said, I hope you've enjoyed the video today, and I'll catch you in the next one.